Big and tall guys, this workout is for you. In this video, I'm going to guide you through a follow-along workout with big and tall yoga instructor Jesse, who is our big and tall instructor at Manflow Yoga. So if you've got a belly in the way for some of the poses, if you're a taller guy and it seems like you just have to stretch more than the average height guy, we're going to show you how to modify the poses to work for you. This is the first in a 3-part series, so be sure to check out the rest of the videos in this series. All right, guys, enjoy the video and be sure to subscribe for more.
Thank you very much, Dean. Let's all go ahead and get started. We're going to do some floor exercises. So let's get started on the mat. First, we're going to do a nice seated forward fold. Something I always recommend, especially for our big and tall people, is to sit on a block. Whenever I'm sitting on the floor, I always use a block because it helps keep my knees below my hips, which helps me keep my back straight, or else I am just hunched over and I can't breathe. So whenever you're on the floor, highly recommend trying to sit on a block. And then when we're doing a forward fold, I always recommend a strap. If you don't have a strap, use a dog leash, a belt, a piece of rope along the front of your feet. And then once you have that, it's important to remember to try to keep your back straight, your chest forward, your core engaged. So we don't want to be hunching over, because once we start hunching over, that's when we start to experience a little back pain. So we always start sitting up straight, whatever that looks like for you, whether that means knees up here, knees bent. So we have nice straight back, forward chest, and then we straighten those knees the best that we can, and we engage by pulling our chest towards our feet. So your level of depth when it comes to forward fold is going to be different than anybody else's. For me, especially right now, this is kind of effective. I can feel this in my core, in the back of my knees, and in my hips. And I'm just kind of gently giving a pull and leading my chest to my toes. And this right here is an effective forward fold. I'm engaging my core, and it helps protect my lower back. And I just focus on breathing. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Nice long inhale, nice long exhale. And over time, the longer you hold it, the deeper you can get into this pose. It's good to hold for, 30 seconds, as long as you can. If you start to experience any kind of pain, especially in your lower back or soreness, it's good to take a break and let go and get out of it. All right, we can go ahead and release that one.
Cool.
Another floor pose that I see a lot of bigger guys struggle with is child's pose. So we can go ahead and remove the block. Child's pose is always good to have wide open knees. We had a wellness retreat this weekend, and it was something that I noticed that a lot of guys weren't opening their knees, and especially if you have a gut or a belly, it just makes it impossible to move and breathe. So if you have a knee pad, a pillow, a blanket, something, it's good to stick that under there. I think this will be wide enough. I might go off a little bit.
These vets are big, but I don't know if they're that big.
They're big enough. They're big enough. So it's good to remember to get those knees as wide as you can and reach out. So I always like to inhale for length through the spine and then exhale down. So if you have a gut, you might need to adjust sometimes, give it a little sway back and forth so that you can fit between your thighs. And when it comes to a child's pose, sometimes this is it. So if you find yourself here, this is a good place to be. What I don't want you to do is to drop your head and just lean into that gut and you can't breathe. So there's a little bit more intention here. And I'm holding myself up with my hands, but I'm also protecting my back. So I'm engaging my core as best that I can, and I'm reaching as long as I can. So I inhale for length, exhale, engage that core, and see if I can get a little bit of depth. My toes are together, and all the while, I'm kind of pushing my butt down towards my feet. And then also with that added weight, sometimes it's hard to get your butt all the way down to your feet. So, like I said, for your body, if you are up in this position and your butt's up a little bit higher, sometimes that's just kind of what your body has to do. So, if you look over at the person next to you and they're flat as a pancake, don't be discouraged, because you're not going to look the same. Inhale for length, exhale for a little bit more depth. Let's do one more breath here. And slowly come out of that one. Okay. Cobra is another pose that we can do while we're on the floor. We won't need the knee pad for that. When in Cobra, I know that, when I was at my heaviest, it was hard to breathe sometimes. So Cobra, we're on our bellies, and our arms are normally off to the side. Our hands are like chest level. At this point, for bigger guys, sometimes it's harder to breathe. And so something that you can do with that, if you feel a lot of pressure and there's a lot of added weight and you have a hard time breathing, a Sphinx pose is a good modification. So we inhale for length. We zip our legs together. Our knees are facing down and all 10 toes are on the floor. We're inhaling for length and exhaling into the pose. And like before, sometimes you got to do some adjustments, kind of swaying back and forth, especially if you got that extra weight and make it comfortable. But this is definitely a really good modification if you have that extra weight that makes it hard to breathe when laying on your stomach. Shoulders are down and back. Core is engaged. Chest forward, face up. I don't want you to crane your neck. Looking straight might be comfortable as well, especially if you have extra skin or padding behind your shoulders. So if you can't look straight, you find that spot off on the floor so that you can do it comfortably. But what I also don't want you to do is to drop your head because you'll round your shoulders and you can hurt your neck. So as high as you can, shoulders down and back. Nice long inhale. Nice long exhale. Nice belly breaths.
And we should also say that it's just difficult to breathe in Cobra anyway. So
Yeah.
even if you're not a big guy, it's difficult to breathe in this position. Don't expect to be like, oh yeah, breathing feels great here.
Yeah. No, it's definitely, you're definitely gonna struggle a little bit, but when you focus on a nice slow breath, it definitely makes it easier. Nice long inhale, nice long exhale. The longer you hold it, the easier, simpler, or better the breath should get. So.
Sorry to interrupt the workout, guys. Just want to mention that if you're enjoying this series, if you like the approach for big and tall guys, we do have a full series and more workouts specifically for bigger and taller guys in the Manful Yoga app and members area. I'll go ahead and put the link in the description below. You can try that out with a free 7-day trial.
All right, let's go ahead and come out of that one. Next, we'll do Pigeon Pose. Pigeon Pose is a pose a lot of people struggle with. No matter your size or weight, it's a lot of people, even with the flexibility that Dean has, it's not an easy pose. So I will show you a good modification for getting into it. So if you want to start sitting on a block, it can help you get into that pose because it raises my hips up, and then I go into a 90-90 right here. And depending on your flexibility, this could be where you stop. You want to make sure, though, that you're not falling over to the side. It's good to try to stay engaged and up, and actually another block could help with that, off to the right, so I can hold myself up. So this right here is a really good beginner's modification because I have that knee up and out. If you don't have this flexibility, you can always bring your heel a little bit closer to your crotch. And then moving this leg back is the goal ultimately. So you can start working on that. And this may be where you stop. If you can't fully get that leg pointing back and on top of that knee, this may be where you have to stop. So, and it's good to stay up, shoulders down and back for now. We will get to the point where we can lean forward, but as big people, sometimes that gut gets in the way, so this is a good place to be. But if you wanted to focus on your hip flexibility and hip mobility, then you want to try a completely different approach, and you would do something like a reclined figure 4 against the wall. So I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so you can go ahead and stay in that one, and then I'll show this.
Yeah, so if you want to be with the class, if you're concerned about following along and doing something similar, we can do that 90-90 kind of modified pigeon that we just did and sitting on the block. But if you want to target your glutes, your external hip rotators more effectively, this is what we recommend, the reclined figure 4, specifically for the physical benefit.
Yeah. So you want to find a spot against the wall, and you'll sit with your they're about a couple feet from the wall so that when you put your feet up, you've got some right angles. I have a right angle on my ankles and my knees as well as my hips. And what leg were we doing first? The right leg? Sure. Okay. And then you take your right foot, cross it over your left knee, and recline here. And then if you are, hand me a block really quick. If you're struggling with keeping your head back, because sometimes the body distribution makes it hard to lay our heads down, lay it on a block, because you should be relaxed here, not straining to keep your head up. So once you're here, you can get that knee or that ankle above the knee. And I don't recommend pushing here, but I like to just hold here so that it's not doing this. My hips are squared to the wall, my shoulders are squared to my hips, and I just hold right here. Nice long inhale, nice long exhale. And this is one of those poses that the longer you hold it, the more you can kind of melt into it. I saw you on video once, Dean, do a 5-minute pigeon. So this is one that the longer you hold it, the more benefits there are. So if you are in pain and it gets really uncomfortable, feel free to get out of it. But if you have time to just sit with a pigeon pose or this nice modification, just sit with it because your hips are going to be really thankful afterward.
Yeah, and if you notice that you're not getting, if that pain starts to creep in, that's usually because you're not staying active through the pose. So if you can think about using the muscles in the hips that you're stretching, all right, so think about squeezing your glutes, think about squeezing your thighs, flex your toes back toward your shin. So if you keep that leg active, that's going to enable you to hold the pose longer without discomfort.
All right. I'll do one more big breath. And we'll go ahead and switch sides. And since I'm already here, I might as well just switch feet. Put my right foot on the wall and just bring my left foot over. And same thing here. My hips are squared, my shoulders are squared. I inhale for nice long length. Exhale, hold my left knee. Engage those toes, bring them back. And just lay here and hold it. It looks a lot more relaxing than it is. And then over time, with consistent work, the goal is to be able to get where you are, but I know that I'm not there yet. So starting where your body will let you is kind of is something that you need to keep in mind here, because at the wellness retreat, something I saw was a lot of people attempting to do poses that their body wasn't quite ready for yet. And that can just lead to, that can lead to getting hurt. Like if you're not ready for a pose in a certain way, it's best to keep in mind to either do it less, not worry about the depth of getting all the way down on the floor, or modify it in a way that works for your body. So it's something to keep in mind. One more breath here. And then go ahead and come out of this one. All right. And roll over.
All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that workout. Again, this is part of our Big and Tall yoga series. I've got 6 more of those on the way. As of the recording of this video, those videos haven't been released yet, so I want to point you to my Yoga for Complete Beginners series, which is also a great tool for you guys. So link for that in the description here. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you want to check out the first video in that Complete Beginner series, just go ahead and click above my shoulder right now. Thanks for watching.